So the next thing is bank rec. So inside the bank rec, I'm going to add a checkbook. I'm going to show you how to put a transaction in, and I'm going to show you how to look at a reconciliation. Okay. So under the bank rec, we go back to GP. We'll start with GP, and we click on checkbook. And the checkbook I'm going to do the bank rec on is Uptown Trust because it has some transactions. First Bank does not. So inside here we set the GL code. That's not a problem. We've got the US bank account in this particular case. I've got a couple of transactions inside here and some max checks and things like that. This one here is fairly straightforward. If I need to put my EFT information inside here, I would put it inside here. I pick a country and then I can fill in the transit number, the bank number, and some information so that I can create my EFT files for both payables and receivables. And then if I have some direct deposit transactions, this is the direct deposit that we want to use. So this direct deposit's for AR. This EFT is more for the checks and things like that. We got payment types and things like that. So I'm going to just hit save on that. This is what we put in on each one. We again, it's a tab through all these to add them on. We're going to put in the company address and a bank ID and things like that. So we hit save. So same screen inside Business Central. It's under bank accounts. Again, I got that same list. I'm going to click on First Bank because that's the one I'm going to do the bank rec on because that's the one I put all the transactions into. So inside here, I specify whether it's got a currency, use default for the currency, what my format's going to be on my check, something that we had to hard code into the report writer inside GP, but we can put it here. So if you need the underscores or anything like that to meet CPA standards, you can do so. You can use a slash or a dash or a none and things like that. You've got different pieces of information in here, but you'll notice inside here I have a bank account number and a branch number. So these bank account numbers and branch numbers are integral to this because there's bank payment services and things that it hooks up directly to the banks for you. Underneath communication, who do I send, who do I contact, and things like that, what communication language, etc. Currency code, I've got blank because this is going to be a Canadian bank, so that's what I've done. What's the next check number? What's the last remittance advice? I can create remittance advices that are different, so when the remittance advice goes out, it has its own numbering system. And then we've got our payment reconciliations inside there as well. We also have some bank transit information. This is for transfers and payment export files. We can pick things such as CA default, Mexican default, different ones are available, EFTs and things like that, so that they will create the correct file format. Also has the same list inside here. Once you've created one, you get a list of your PosiPay if you're using Positive Pay. In GP, it's an extra module called Positive Pay. Inside Business Central, it's just a core feature. So that's what we've got inside here. Now, when I click on bank account up top here, I can attach dimensions to this account. So when I look at this, I go, okay, where's my GL code? One of the things is that we don't have it doesn't look like we've got a GL code attached, but the GL code is actually attached in the bank posting code. So when I click on the bank posting code, let me just click on here. We'll select from, we'll go show details. So this is, and that's where the GL code is attached. So it's attached in the background so you can use it for multiple, so it's potentially used in multiple locations. In the bank, it's a one-to-one relationship. So this is what the bank account looks like. As you navigate through, you've got a lot of different things. It'll show you all your ledger entries. So if I click on ledger entries inside here, it shows me all the transactions that are currently in the bank and whether they're open or not inside here as to whether they've been reconciled or whatever. So we've got the bank ledger entry. So this would then match up to your bank record if you wanted to take a look at it at any given time. It's always right there at your fingertips. So that's the two things about the bank. Now, the bank statement service, there is a bank statement service. You can link to an online bank. So when you link into bank accounts and you create a new linking, it will download the bank statement for you so that you've got the bank's information on one screen, on one side of the screen, and the your information on the other, and then you can do some matching accordingly. So that's kind of what we've got for the bank accounts itself. So Next is the transaction. So under a transaction, they're payment journals or whatever they happen to be. But the nice thing inside GP for our transactions, what we use is we use the bank transaction screen. And inside here, we've got a note. I'm just going to do a check. Checkbook is going to be Town Trust, like so. Paid to, and we're going to put $100, like so. Automatically puts in the credit for me, and then it asks me what I want to do inside here. If I don't know the account for travel, I can go into here and I can click on description and I can type in travel and see if I can find it. There's my travel accounting. I'm going to put it to $165.20 travel admin. So there we are. There, I'm going to put $100. There we are. There's the transaction. In GP, the only option you've got at this point is either to post it. So I can hit post, and it'll post it through, and then I can close it, and I'll just kill the posting journal. So that's how I do that transaction there. Now on the it's under a general journal. You can do it under a general journal. So we can go back to our same test batch here, like so. And when I click on here, I can go across here and let's go. Like so. If the account type, if I can click on here and I can pick up customers and vendors, so I can actually do invoices here as well. But most importantly, I can hit a bank account. And then inside here, the external document number is 1234 check, CHK. We'll just put a check there. And then the account number that I want to hit is travel. Oops. And let me just see here. Oh, wait, that's the bank. Sorry. I pick up my first bank because that's my bank. And then I come across to here and I'm going to credit it $100, same as I did before. Now, I could go over to here and then just put in a balance account, but then I got a problem that I don't have the right, I may not have the right dimension. So I'm going to go to here. 18 is going to pick it up. And instead of being a bank account, I'm just going to pick a GL code. And I'm going to type in travel. Oops. Come on. There's travel admin. And again, I'm going to put it into 00, and I'm going to put it into 100, the same as we did on the other one. And this is going to be a debit for $100. And now we're ready to go. So now this is actually going to hit the bank. So if I go back to my post print and I hit the preview posting, yeah, that's fine. I know it's beyond today's date. There's both a GL entry, 7, and one bank account entry. When I hit the bank account entry, it says that it's going to First Bank, and there it is there. It's got no dimension attached to it. When I look at the journal entry, I'll have the 2 transactions at the bottom that make the balanced entry right there. So that's all set to go. So that could now be posted. Close that. I'm going to close that. So that's how you get a transaction into the bank. You can do it through a general journal. That's how a lot of people do it. It also, of course, picks up into the bank all checks and all deposits from accounts receivable and accounts payable. So the next piece, and the last piece for today, is on the bank rec. So when I go into a reconcile bank rec inside GP, I go to click on First Bank. Whoops. I did say earlier that I was using Uptown Trust because it has transactions. We go save. And we go to transactions. And we've got a list of transactions. In order to do this particular bank rec, we would have a bank statement beside us or on another screen. We would come in here and start to select the ones that match up with you. You click them manually like this based on what you see on your statement. And then when this 480490 goes to 0, you'd be able to hit the reconcile and your bank rec would be done. Anything that's missing on your bank statement, you would then enter bank transactions and refresh this and then keep going like that. That's what you're doing on a day-to-day basis inside GP. So now let's go take a look at what we would do inside the bank module inside Business Central. So when we go into bank reconciliations, you get a list of the banks, and I'm going to use First Bank because that's the one that, as I said, I've got the transactions for. So when I open up this transactions, I've already done this. So what would happen is that on this side here, this is the bank statement lines. Because we've hooked up a file, you can download a file from most of the major banks, and you can download the file and you can upload it. Inside here, you can process inside here, you can transfer the GL under the postings or under the bank. So under the bank, I can import my bank statement. It would overwrite all of this information that you see on the left. It would add to that based on what's on that new statement. Now, you'll see that some of these things match up, 2244 and things like that. So what we have inside here is matching, and it uses Copilot to do this. And when I hit the match automatically, it's going to match automatically. It's going to pop up. It's going to ask me, what's my tolerance? So the bank statement has got a posting date or a transaction date that will be X days from when you actually issued the check. So if I issued a check on the 1st of January, I put it in the mail, you probably need to give them 10 or 20 days to clear it. So I'm going to put in 15, and I'm going to go OK. Now when I go OK, it works on it. There's 14 out of 29 are matched, and I go OK. So there we are there. So I've got this 2298, and you'll see this 2298 here does not match. It does match, but you'll notice that it's outside of 30 days. I could just click on this inside here and match it. I would 2298, and then like so, and then I can hit the match at the top. And then I can match manually. So then I can keep matching, and then I would match it. But you'll see that it's done most of the work already for you. Got almost all my transactions inside here. I've got a few inside here which do not match up on this side. So this 2298 is the core one, this travel one here, 1003, 1003. This is a date issue. The others are just on my bank statement, but not yet in Business Central. So somebody has done some work online, maybe paid some bills online without doing the actual entry in Business Central. We hope they don't do that, but it happens that way. We put in the VAT end statement and things like that. Again, what we do is when the difference gets to 0, we can process the bank rec and we can post it. So when I click on posting, I post and print, and I can hit the test report. If I hit a test report, I think this one should work. We go preview. And there it is there. So there's the applied entries and the applied amount. There's your differences there. I'm out $8,000. So this gives me a report that I can deal with on what we need to have. So there's statement amount, the applied amount, and things like that. So we've got all these different amounts inside here. So that gives you kind of the idea of what you can do inside the bank rec.